Nathan John Firestein is an American rapper, singer, and songwriter born in the small town of Gladwin, Michigan on March 30th, 1991. NF had a rough childhood as his parents went through a divorce where he would stay with his mom and two younger sisters. During that time, his mom got a boyfriend who started to physically abuse Nate and one of his sisters, which led to his father taking them away. In 2009, his mother fatally overdosed on drugs, which affected Nate, as in 2016 he'd make a song dedicated to her titled How Could You Leave Us, and another one in 2023 titled Mama. Also in 2009, he graduated from Gladwin High School and was a part of the school's basketball team. To cope with his difficult childhood, he used music as an outlet. He would record songs on his karaoke machine, recorded instrumentals on one microphone, and his raps on the other. In 2008, NF participated in the Fine Arts Festival competition, which he got second place, and a year later, he entered again to win first place. On November 29th of 2010, NF independently released his first studio album Moments under his name Nathan Firestein. The album had a total of 13 tracks on it. On August 2nd of 2011, he released his first single titled Alone, which featured songwriter and producer TOMMEE PROFITT and Brooke Griffith. In 2012, NF's work got the attention of Zis Music. On May 2nd of 2012, he released his debut extended play I'm Free with producer TOMMEE PROFITT. The extended play had 9 songs, including a different version of Alone featuring Sean Simons. Zist had plans and teased another NF EP release, but they parted ways after a dispute, and the production of the EP was delayed. Despite this dispute, NF made a song titled Only One featuring Cherie Williams in the label's compilation album. Fast forward to late 2013, he released his single Beautiful Addiction, which again featured PROFITT, as well as vocals from Brady Schmitz and Danielle Swift. NF also appeared on Christian hip-hop artist Flame's Royal Flush album, singing the chorus for the song Start Over. Before the release of the next EP, NF signed to Capital Christian Music Group in 2014. He got the attention of them by making the song Wake Up with TOMMEE PROFITT. The EP, which was self-titled, was his breakthrough release on the Billboard, as it charted number 12 on the Christian Albums chart, number 4 on the top gospel albums, and number 15 on the top rap albums. It also received 3.5 out of 5 stars by Jesus Freak Hideout and New Release Tuesday. CCM Magazine, however, gave it 4 stars. It included 6 tracks, including Wake Up and All I Have, which both went RIAA certified gold. After the success of the extended play, NF decided to release his first studio album under the name NF in 2015, titled Mansion. Intro was the lead single and was included in the video game Madden NFL 16. NF songs also played on ESPN, Showtime, and NBC Chicago PD, just to name a few. His future songs would continue to be in games, promos, and TV shows in the upcoming years also. All I Have and Wake Up were moved to this album, making the album 12 tracks long in total. And as of 2023, the album Mansion is certified gold by the RIAA. Out of the 12 tracks, the title track Mansion and Paralyzed went platinum, while Can You Hold Me went gold. David Jeffries, a writer for AllMusic, gave the album a 4 out of 5 stars. CCM Magazine also gave the same number of stars, with writer Grace S. Aspinwall complimenting its raw, gritty, and enigmatic themes, in that it's an impressive effort. Kevin Hoskins of Jesus Freak Hideout gave it a whopping 5 out of 5 stars, stating that this has Album of the Year written all over it. Like Hoskins, Steve Haves gave it a perfect score at Cross Rhythms, stating it's unquestionably one of the finest ever to emerge from the gospel hip-hop scene. Mansion also debuted in number 62 on the Billboard 200, selling over 10,100 copies in its first week. NF also began dating a girl named Bridget Dormis in 2015. He also featured on Toby Mac's This Is Not a Test track Till the Day I Die, and Marty's Marty for President track The One With My Friends. This gained him more recognition in the Christian hip-hop genre. Moving to April 2016, NF released 2 new singles, I Just Wanna Know and Real. They were singles to his next studio album Therapy Session, released on April 22nd of 2016. The album had 14 tracks total. The album went certified platinum by the RIAA, and the title track Therapy Session went RIAA certified platinum too, as well as Got You On My Mind, Real, and How Could You Leave Us. Tracks from this album that went gold were Oh Lord, Grindin', and Lost in a Moment. Therapy Session peaked number 12 on the US Billboard 200 and won the Gospel Music Association Dove Award for Rap Hip Hop Album of the Year. It also received a 4 out of 5 stars on CCM Magazine, with the author Matt Connor writing that he's glad NF dug deeper on his sophomore album. Warm Up was released as a non-album single on September 8th of 2016. It went certified gold per the RIAA. On October 6th of 2017, NF released his 3rd studio album Perception through Capitol Records alongside NF's newly launched label NF Real Music. The album had 16 tracks in total. The singles consisted of Outro, Green Lights, Let You Down, Lie, and If You Want Love. This album was the biggest biggest hit of NF's career so far, with it being certified 2 times platinum by the RIAA, 7 songs going gold, and 4 tracks going platinum. That's an understatement actually, because the single Let You Down went 8 times platinum, the single Lie 3 times, and If You Want Love also 3 times, and Remember This only went platinum once. The album debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200, making it his first chart-topping album and the second artist in 2017 to release a number 1 album without it having charted on the Hot 100. The next week, Let You Down became his first single to chart on the Hot 100 at number 87. It took 17 weeks to reach its peak at number 12. CCM Magazine's Matt Connor once again gave it 4 out of 5 stars, stating that the maturity and musical experimentation grows on perception, yet the dynamism and authenticity remain firmly in place. In contrast, David Kraft of Jesus Freak Hideout gave the album 2 out of 5 stars due to its lack of originality and redundancy. He stated that perception essentially consists of NF spending an hour yelling at listeners about his thinly veiled insecurities while simultaneously bragging about how great he is. Kevin Hoskins of Jesus Freak Hideout gave a more positive review, giving it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. He praised the album for its continuity of emotional lyrics and thematic production from NF's previous albums. NF also featured on Futuristic's Epiphany, which was the last feature NF had done at the time of writing. After the success of Perception, he announced he would begin touring mid-2018 with rappers Logic and Kyle. After the tour, however, NF revealed he wasn't well mentally and admitted himself into therapy, where he was diagnosed with obsessive compulsive disorder or OCD. He also released a non-album single titled No Name on January 19th of 2018, and the first single Why for his new 4th studio album on June 18th. To end 2018, NF and Dormus married in September after 3 years of dating. On May 30th of 2019, NF released the title track of the album, The Search. He would later release 2 more singles, When I Grew Up on June 28th and Time on July 12th. The Search fully released on July 26th, and the album is certified platinum by the RIAA. The single Time, The Search, and When I Grew Up went 2 times platinum, while Leave Me Alone, Why, and My Stress all went platinum once, and 6 tracks went gold, and there were a total of 19 tracks. The album also debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200, becoming NF's second US number 1 album. The ratings were fairly mixed, getting as low as a 2 out of 5 on Rolling Stone, to a 58 out of 100 on Metacritic, to a 4 out of 5 on Hip Hop DX. On December 3rd of 2019, NF released a single and its music video, Paid My Dues. It was certified gold by the RIAA. In October of 2020, NF released a non-album single titled Chasing _ Demo, featuring a 15-year-old at the time, Michaela Sipple, who uploaded a cover of it, which inspired NF to officially release the song after being amazed by her version. On February 18th of 2021, NF released the single Clouds and its music video, and also announced the mixtape of the same name, which was scheduled for late March of 2021. The Clouds single was certified platinum by the RIAA, and the mixtape included Pay My Dues, as well as features from rappers Hopsin and Tech 9. The single Lost came out before the mixtape, featuring Hopsin, and it went certified gold by the RIAA. Like promised, Clouds, the mixtape, was released on March 26th of 2021, with a total of 10 tracks. It went certified gold by the RIAA. On August 13th of 2021, NF and Bridget had a son named Beckham John Firestein. Going to the year 2023, NF released his single Hope on February 16th. It went certified gold by the RIAA, and it also announced his 5th studio album of the same name. Another single was released, Motto, on March 9th. Hope was fully released on April 7th of 2023, with 13 tracks, including the music video for the final single, Happy. Happy also went certified gold. NF claimed that his OCD had made it harder to produce an album, with Hope taking over a 1.5 years to create. He stated he became fixated on the music, which made it harder to make a song to his liking. On June 5th of 2023, NF's wife Bridget announced that they were expecting their 2nd child on Instagram. And on December 9th of 2023, Bridget held her baby, Leighton Christine Firestein. So that's pretty much all the background I could find for NF. Now it's time to start the ranking. We'll be ranking in chronological order, with Moments, then I'm Free, then the NFEP, then Mansion, then Therapy Session, and so on. It's not just going to be a ranking, it's going to be an analyzation of each track, some more analyzed than others, but it's an analysis nonetheless. A couple things to note: I won't be ranking or analyzing any of the non-album singles, so songs like No Name, Warm Up, and Chasing won't be on any list. However, I will still mention some of these tracks when it's necessary to connect them to others. This will be the same with the 4 tracks he features in. But yeah, I hope you guys do enjoy this. We'll start with Moments. The thing with Moments is that Nate relies just too heavily on autotune. Sometimes the autotune sounds good, still overdone, but sounds good, and other times it's just awful. But since this is his first ever album, you can't really fault him for it. The theme for this album is to give your life to God, with tracks like Wrap Me in Your Arms, Overdose, Until I Die, and Your Grace. It's evident that that's the approach NF was aiming for. He wanted to be known as that Christian rapper. But when we get to his 2014 self-titled EP, I think that's the start of him becoming a Christian rapper to just a rapper who happens to be Christian. He later confirms this in an interview with idolater.com, the interviewer being Mike Wass, on May 3rd of 2016, after he dropped his Therapy Session album. He asked NF if that's how he classifies himself, a Christian rapper. NF responds with, "Not at all. I mean, I'm a Christian, but I'm just an artist. I'm a musician. You know what I mean? To me, it's like if you're a Christian and you're a plumber, are you a Christian plumber? That's the easiest way for me to explain it. I just make music. Talk about my life, I talk about my faith, I talk about positive things that I've dealt with, that have taught me things, and I talk about negative things that I'm dealing with. I wouldn't describe myself as that, but I am a Christian." Yeah, I'm personally not a Christian, so for me to like any of NF's older work is kinda ironic, but I like this album for a number of other reasons, and we're just gonna talk about it. So yeah, let's get into this. Alright, so the title track for this album is just awful. Where do I begin? So, I actually like the production, and I think it's fitting for the tone he's aiming for, but the autotune is unbearable. Apparently, the third verse is a feature, which at first I thought it was NF, but it's someone else who isn't credited. But I'm kind of glad they're not credited, because it's a horrible verse. The flow, the voice, it's just, it's all around. I've been doing this ever since I really knew what music was. At number 12, we have With Me, and it isn't much better. It's a more catchy song, and I do like the production, surprisingly. Like, a common sentiment I have with this album, even though a lot of the songs are bad, the production is still good. I really think that says something, because this is an independent album. NF didn't have anybody to help him with his production, so props to him on this, you know? Yeah, he's not gonna see this, but props to him. Although I do like the production, this whole song just feels so forced. Like, the line, 911, what's your emergency? Some white boy over the microphone just lyrically murdered me. He just tries too hard here, and it comes off sounding not good. Okay, so Overdose. Like I said with the last 2 songs, I like the production, and this is no exception. Same with all the other songs, so I should probably stop mentioning that. I like the feature on here. This is a song where NF has a feature. She's sadly not credited on the song, and that sucks, but whatever. NF aims his focus in looking for an overdose on God, and that no one will ever take away his faith. I guess this is a fine song. It's certainly not bad, but it's not good either. I would rather die than pretend don't exist. Wrap Me in Your Arms is like Overdose, where he wants to devote everything to God and spread his name. It's fine too, a little better than Overdose, that's why it's 1 spot above, but overall this song is just mediocre. I'm gonna take my hopes and dreams and use them to glorify his name. NF opens the song up stating he's not a shady number 2, he's the first NF. If you didn't know, NF has gotten compared to Eminem a lot in his career, but I just don't see the comparisons being warranted with the exception of his early tenure. But from everyone that I've seen compare the 2 artists, they're never talking about Moments. It's ironic because this is where he sounds the most like him, but apparently people have been comparing them ever since 2010, which I find hard to believe because this album was released independently where it wouldn't gain much traction. It's so complicated to get into, and I apologize for this little side tangent, but anyway. The low-pitched devil voice he uses is like the one Eminem used in his 2009 album Relapse for his track My Darling. The song's chorus is my favorite, but overall this track is just subpar. I treat you like a toy, so I'll put you on the shelf. More Jesus songs here. Instead, this one is about how he feels like he's going in circles, wanting to do better when praising Jesus, since he wasn't doing it enough, and only doing it when he needs him, instead of all the time. This is the first good song in the album I can say with confidence. I like the chorus, the production, and the voice, how well it syncs, and the third verse has to be my favorite. It's really catchy, and I like how Nate opens up about failing in praising his God. Beautiful is very auto-tune heavy, but I look past that because I like the song and the message. I think it's about one of NF's past girlfriends, but I can't really confirm. It's about a girl who feels broken and depressed. My favorite verse is the third, which is him rapping instead of singing. I always like the format he's done where the first 2 verses are singing and then the last is rapping. He does that a lot in his earlier work, which you'll see more in this album and the 2012 EP. The production here is great, and it really captures the emotion he's going for and how the girl is feeling. She wants love, help, someone, but she's too scared to be rejected and feels broken inside. Overall, a great song.
Mom, if you were here today, I would put my arms around you and tell you I love you.
I Miss You. NF talks about his relationship with his mom. It's apparently dubbed as the old "How Could You Leave Us" according to a Genius annotation. The chorus is beautiful, being sung by an unknown woman, and the whole song is amazing. I love the third verse the most, and the production is so solid all around.
Pretend you care, but really it don't bother you. Wonder if it will when I decide to say goodbye to you.
This song really grew on me. The third verse is my favorite, and I love the voice and the flow. The lyrics in it really related to me back then when I was going through something similar to this. His singing on the other parts of the song is amazing too. There's really not much else to say except I really love the song. But there is 4 songs I find greater on this album, and the 4th one has to go to
Reality, but this ain't real. What am I supposed to say?
Reality is imagining life in a basically perfect world, and I find the song so artistic. I want NF to remake this song someday, as it's such a great concept to rap about. I love the production, the voice, and the comparisons to a perfect world versus reality. The chorus is great too.
Wonder why my mama had to die, Lord Jesus.
And number 3, we have Your Grace. This song gave me a lot of relief when I was struggling with depression. Although I'm not a Christian like I said, NF's soothing voice and hearing about his struggles gave me hope. I love the flow to it and how well NF puts the song together. It's really beautiful, and the 3rd verse has to be my favorite.
Hoping and wishing it, some things will be different. See you scream in your room and feel like nobody's listening.
Escape's rhyme schemes, flow, production, and chorus are all amazing. The autotune can be toned down a bit for the intro, but overall I really don't mind it. I love the message here. You have to look forward instead of looking backwards. You can't change the past, but can prepare for the future.
I put on a smile, put both of my feet through the door. All of a sudden, I don't feel the pain anymore.
I'm Gonna Fly is actually so beautiful. It has noticeable autotune that sounds off at first, but it grew on me heavily. This song helped me through a rough time, and I remember first hearing it and being happy I found it. My favorite verse has to be the 3rd one, which is a common sentiment I have for this album, that usually the 3rd verse is my favorite, and I love the first 2 verses also. NF has great wordplay in his first couple projects, and even though quite a few of the songs are bad, he still has a clever rhyme scheme, and that I could appreciate. And you'll see how it improves more in 2014, 2015, 16, 17, and so on. Alright, so that is it for moments. I hope you guys got a nice feel on how my ranking system is gonna be, kind of. It's just worst song to best song, and me listing positives and negatives. But yeah, overall, NF handles his themes and messages really well here, and he has clever wordplay and production for this album, so let's move on to I'm Free Now, everybody. As much nostalgia as I have for Moments, I can't deny that its lowest points are worse than I'm Free's. You see, this project still relies on autotune, but not to the extent of Moments. It still shares the same themes with praising God and giving your life to Him, with songs like I Got Jesus and I'm Free mainly focusing on it. It also goes for more of the pain aspect that we saw present in Moments, with tracks like Goodbye and Invisible taking the spotlight. Although I have more love for Moments, I still love I'm Free and think it's objectively better.
Your mom mixed up in a bad position. Like, hey, everybody, let's laugh at Christian.
I get what NF is trying to do in this track, spreading Jesus' name through his music, but this track just comes off so cringeworthy. The interlude and skit isn't good, the verses are subpar at best, and I can't think of anything good to say other than I probably like the chorus the best. But it's not saying much. I Got Jesus is just not a good song. I'm Free relies heavily on autotune, and it makes it sound really bad at some points, but I do find the overall flow very catchy, and the production is nothing to scoff at, but it's nothing to praise either. I like the start of the 2nd verse with the baseball analogy though.
Nothing around me, up where the clouds be. I'm the real definition of drowning.
The non-album single of Alone with TOMMEE and Brooke was amazing, but this one doesn't live up to that standard. I'm not a fan of the feature, Sean Simons, with his parts just sounding annoying more than anything. The verses by Nate felt more slow and lacked the overall emotion the single did. Don't get me wrong, I can still hear emotion, but not to the point of the other version. I also don't know what's wrong with the end of the 2nd verse. Like, it really wasn't needed, and I'm glad it wasn't in the other version. Anyways, without the comparison, it's a deep track that fits with the overall themes very well, and that's what NF does best usually, his ability to match what tone he's looking for. But I'll always prefer the other version of Alone.
Sometimes I look out the window of my life
Not the Same's production is actually very good, and so is the overall voice and flow. It's about his love for God and how he wants to use the gift he's given him, which is being an artist. I really don't have anything to say, it's just a good track. I've Been There actually has another version which I prefer, but not to the extent as, let's say, the two Alone versions. I'm not going to compare much though, except that the chorus of the other version is executed slightly better. Anyway, it's about a struggling relationship with God and simultaneously a positive message for his listeners. They are not alone in your struggles with God. The line in the second verse, "knocking on my door but it's locked," was a cool mansion foreshadow because it connects deeply with the mansion metaphor that knocking on his door is useless, which means that Nate prevents people from entering his life because he doesn't want to get hurt.
Don't just talk to the music, music's talking to me.
Understand Me is a solid opening for this project. It's about his dream of becoming a rapper, which gets expanded better in his later albums. The flow and production are good, and the first verse has to be my favorite flow-wise. Yeah, it's an overall good track and a solid opener.
You look kinda upset. Was it something I did? If I had the chance, and I would take it all back.
That's Alright shows off NF's singing talents, with nice production to add to it. It's a beautiful track of, I'm assuming, one of his girlfriends, and he does a good job with the flow, and his voice is just so beautiful. Like, this track overall is beautiful.
The fact that this could really be the end.
Goodbye sounds the most modern NF song from this project to me, because it doesn't rely heavily on autotune at all really, and it just focuses on his voice and how powerful it is. The all singing tracks from NF are truly a gift, as we rarely ever see one. We get one in The Search, but I think that's about it, to be honest. I mean, we have Chasing with Michaela Simple, but I think that's it. Maybe I'm just forgetting some. Anyway, this is about a failing relationship, which is pretty evident from the lyrics. It's so emotion heavy, and it does such a great job in making you emotional. I want to be saying that if the production was bad, as the production isn't bad, it's so good, and it fits the overall tone with what NF is singing about.
I do my best to pretend that I don't notice you, cause you don't ever notice me, so what am I supposed to do?
Invisible is about NF's mom. When she died, it of course hit him hard. When I went over the intro of this video, I said that NF couldn't live with his mom due to the abuse from her boyfriend. Well, when he lived with his father, he started to reconnect with his mom before she died. She treated him as an invisible person, probably due to her obsession with opioids. It's sad really, but it's also a beautiful track that shows NF at his most vulnerable, letting out all his emotions. I'm Free was an overall improvement over Moments, as it was not so much of a messy project. It really went more into the pain aspect while still focusing on his praise for Jesus. The tracks were overall better produced and had more of an identity. Anyway, the 2014 EP is next, introducing the NF we all know and love today, with some changes of course, but not as drastic as the first two projects. I said that the songs All I Have and Wake Up were moved to Mansion, but since they were released on this EP first, I'm ranking them here. In this EP, NF is still trying to find his set voice. You can see in all tracks except Wake Up that the voice sounds different compared to what we have in Mansion and the rest of his projects. They're not all identical, but they have a similar tone. Although I really like the voice he uses, I'm glad he stuck with what he has now. NF has a naturally beautiful voice, so the autotune wasn't needed at all in this EP. Overall, this EP serves as the first chapter when using the name NF, and it gives you a bit of everything he has to offer. The themes of love, confidence, faith, and his overall personality.
These songs are like the chapters of my life, and this is my book.
Hands Up shows a little bit of NF's comedic side, along with the hype, self-confident side. I like it and it's pretty catchy, however compared to the rest of the songs on here, it doesn't match the quality. I do like these songs are like the chapters of my life and this is my book line. It's a cool line because his songs and albums are a story and chapters we see. It's his development as a human and how he's grown to where he is now. The chorus is meh, with him just repeating, "Let me see those hands up."
And yo, God gave me this story, so we plot together.
Just Being Me shows that NF is just trying to do his thing and be him. His music is his life, and you'll find out what he's about there. This is his house, and once you enter it, you'll know what he's about. I like the production, although it feels a bit sloppy. I also like how NF touches upon the state of rap, wanting to be a change and actually make passionate music instead of meaningless music.
Hoping and wishing that things will be different.
Only One is about one of NF's relationships, and could also simultaneously be about his relationship with God. It's a good song, and shows off NF singing once again, setting up his love songs people are familiar with today in his later albums. I like the production, and my favorite verse has to be the third.
Trying to get motivated, but everything you do turns into a mess. like you ain't nothing but worthless.
Wake Up is a message to people who are struggling with their life. It shows two different people with different living situations who feel the exact same way. A rich woman that lives in a mansion and has everything she needs, but is divorced and doesn't know what she's after, and feels very depressed. This shows that money and wealth doesn't buy happiness, which NF keeps as sentiment for the rest of his career. The other side is a poor man who has to work a lot, lives in a subpar house, looks at everyone and wishes he had it better and feels depressed. NF shows the actor pointing a finger at God, cursing him for his bad life, which NF expands upon later in his future albums. I love how he shows both sides in the music video with each verse. It's so artistic and the acting is phenomenal. Everything about the song works and I love it. It's Called Love is such a beautiful track. The lyrics are the best part as NF unpacks the complicated features of love. He shows the good, the bad, and the ugly sides in a way that anybody could understand. I love the lines where NF switches the way he feels in the love scene. Like, 1 minute I'm on the ground, next minute I'm in the sky, I don't need nobody else, trust me I'm fine, and then I can't do this by myself, I'm losing my mind. I can see clearly, forget it, I'm blind. Those are just some examples, and it's just truly a masterpiece because love can change people's lives in a positive and negative way. It's crazy what emotions can do to a human. Although I think this song is a masterpiece, there's one more song that takes the #1 spot.
This is the current condition of my state of mind.
All I Have is the said song. NF expresses that he gives all he has when creating music. He shows his emotions, his faith in God, and the work he put in to become a rapper. It's the first track after signing with Capital Christian Music Group. The music video is great, and the flow and production are top tier. When I say the music video is great, I mean it's very unique. I don't know how to explain it really, but you guys gotta watch it. It's definitely my top 10 favorite music videos that NF has ever made. My favorite line is, "Whatever you're hearing now is whether I'm in front or behind that curtain." And it basically means that NF is always bringing his real self to the stage and doesn't leave anything behind, which is literally his brand, to keep it real. Overall, an amazing track and commendable to all degrees of music. This EP did a great job in introducing pretty much every tone and emotion of NF. The hyper-energetic, sad, comical, and passionate. He was still trying out voices to stick with, and of course he eventually did, but it doesn't really have an effect on everything else, just a style change. It's overall an improvement over his last two projects, and has arguably a top 10 song of all time in his discography in All I Have. NF's work just gets better from here, so hold on to your seats, strap up, and get ready, because the next album is a start to his 3-album run, then 3 more projects after that. It's going to be a long road ahead, so let's not waste any more time and get on with it. Mansion deals with NF's personal struggles, showing us what his thoughts are like by using a mansion as his mind. Different rooms in his house represent memories, and he does such a clever job at describing them in the title track. It also deals with the themes of struggling being a Christian and giving your life to God, but it's not as in your face as Moments or I'm Free was. It shows NF's confidence and his all-around attitude, which we get to see more of in his later albums. Mansion was produced fully by TOMMEE PROFITT and David Garcia, who mostly do a good job in their respective work. Anyway, coming up at number 10, we have a song that NF called his top 3 worst songs on Twitter. It's pretty corny. I like how it captures NF's confidence and how he's well motivated. This is a guilty pleasure of mine, listening to it time to time. However, it's very cringy and not on par with this album's standard. There's a lot of nice references and it's humorous, but overall I'm just not a fan of this song.
Think about the words you about to say before you say it.
Face It's chorus I don't really care for, but I do like the flow of the verses and wordplay. In the same place, running in the same race, same pace is my favorite line, which means he feels like he doesn't know how to face his struggles and just keeps being in the same place, not going anywhere. It does feel a bit underwhelming compared to his other tracks on here about his struggles, and that's why it's this low.
You ain't gonna bring me down.
Turn the Music Up is, it's alright. I mean, it's pretty corny like Motivated, but the reason it's higher is because of the 3rd verse. And it's overall just pretty catchy and more clever wordplay here. And there's nothing else to say, really.
Look at the industry, look what it did to me. You'll never make it if you never cry.
Intro is, well, the intro to the Mansion album. The flow sounds odd and off the first 20 seconds of the track in my opinion, but it really starts to pick up with this line. A line I really like though is "Keep it 100, my music was terrible, learn to get better the more that I made it, then go back to my Moments album. Most of y'all probably don't know what I'm saying," is a reference to, of course, his Moments album and how he thought it was terrible and how most people don't even know it existed. No one was listening to it and it was hard to get people to. Hence this line, thank God Capital gave him a shot.
Just wanna act like everything is great, go back to the day, watching movies in a base.
Wait has a nice chorus and a great third verse, which is my favorite part of the track. It's about a relationship that didn't work out and how hard it was to leave the girl, wishing to get another chance. I also think the music video is decent, with NF's acting being a very underrated part of him.
But I'm lonely, feel like I don't even know me, I don't even know me.
Can You Hold Me has a very special place in my heart, with it being the second NF song I ever listened to. NF has a great voice in general, and it really shines here, collabing with featured artist Britt Nicole, who's also amazing. It's about the pair wanting comfort and escaping their pain they go through. It's actually a sequel to I'll Keep On, which, spoiler alert, is next on this list. This focuses on the prayer aspect of God and desire for security, which was missing from the previous track. It has the perfect balance of NF and Nicole, and is overall a beautiful ending to a beautiful album.
I cannot continue on my own, so take my hands now.
So I'll Keep On, the prequel to Can You Hold Me, is not only nostalgic to me, but also a very calm song. And when I say calm, I mean the flow, the production, and voices of NF and featured artist Jeremiah Carlson. As I've stated before, I'm not religious, but I love NF's music and his story, and this song further cements my love for NF's story. With Can You Hold Me focusing on the prayer aspect of God, this one focused on his faith in God and how it motivates him to keep on going, despite all the difficulties he faces.
You and I in the room writing, up late when the moon strikes us.
Notepad is probably the most underrated song in NF's early discography. I really love the music video and what NF is rapping about. It's about his past and how he started music by writing on a notepad. He personifies his notepad, saying it was his best friend ever since he was a kid. The interludes in this song after every verse adds more context and detail to his life, which I love. It's a great song to get to know more about NF, if of course you don't want to watch a whole video essay on it.
I'm not coming to the door, so stop knocking.
Next up is the title track, Mansion. NF, along with Flair, absolutely killed it. Her voice is beautiful, and I'm glad she did the chorus. NF's way with words is admirable too. His storytelling is also commendable. It gives us a bigger picture on what happened to him as a child. As I stated before, NF's mansion is his mind and is full of a lot of thoughts and things he's experienced. He has so many lines that makes this song so creative and unique. This is one of NF's longer songs too, and I wish it had a music video. There's only one song better than this though in my opinion, and it has to be
Paralyzed. I'm scared to live, but I'm scared to die.
Paralyzed is a 10 out of 10 masterpiece. It's the first NF song I've ever listened to. The bridge of the song is my favorite part, and the production, the chorus, the verses, and just everything is a 10 out of 10 here. He talks about how he feels stuck because as a Christian, they can let the world stop them from doing what God has called them to do by temptation or oversatisfaction. NF is reaching out in this song to God to show him who he is. I love the song so much, and it's one of my favorite songs ever. Overall, Mansion was an in-depth album about NF's life and mind and the struggles he faces. It tackles the themes of being a Christian, depression, repressed memories, and also gives us a confident NF with the more humorous tracks. This was a solid start to the 3-album run, but we still have yet to see his best work. Let's move on to the next album, that being Therapy Session. Therapy Session goes more into depth on NF's life and mental state, also showing his growth from coming up from being a no-name. It deals with the themes of being honest and real, whether it be to himself or to past relationships. It also deals with loss, with How Could You Leave Us being the most prominent, and it deals with grinding and striving for greatness, like in the track Grinding. The project was produced by TOMMEE, PROFITT, David Garcia, and the 720. The better songs on the album were produced by PROFITT, in my opinion, but that's not to discredit Garcia and the 720 as they help with some of the good tracks too, especially Garcia.
I feel like LeBron. Yeah.
Ranked last and the huge outlier here is All I Do. I do not like the song. It's humorous, sure, but that's the only semi-good thing I can say. No offense to David Garcia, but the beat is subpar at best. NF also says he feels like LeBron James, meaning he believes he is one of the best rappers in the world. And don't get me wrong, I think NF is one of the best rappers in the world, but saying you feel like LeBron, also known as the first or second greatest NBA player of all time, is kinda cringe. I don't care who you are. Overall, this song just sucks.
Wish you didn't say this.
Wish You Wouldn't is a song that goes on for too long. It's about an ex-girlfriend, and yeah, that's pretty much all that's about. It's a calming song, it's something I don't listen to often, and there's no appeal to ever listen to it really. That's all I have to say.
Too many rappers, I'm sick of the traffic and I ain't got no break.
What I like about Statement is he has a lot of confidence in himself, criticizing many rappers saying how they only care about being famous. The flow is good too, and I really like the song. There's also an Eminem line reference, MMLP I'm the Bad Guy, referring to Eminem's Marshall Mathers LP album and the track in it Criminal, stating I'm the bad guy who makes fun of people that die, and then in his Marshall Mathers LP 2 album with the song titled Bad Guy, where Eminem again says I'm the bad guy who makes fun of people that die. high. The song's a creative track. The only thing keeping the song back from being higher is its production. I don't think it's bad, but I don't think it's good either. Yeah, overall, I do like the song.
You let me be myself, you don't control me.
Got You On My Mind is a nice song to his now wife Bridget Dormus. It's romantic and heartwarming to see how NF felt about her before they got married. NF's voice is top tier here when singing, and those are my favorite parts of the song.
It's a point in a plane if you don't know how to fly it. Yeah.
Grindin' is a motivating song for me. I love to grind on YouTube, as y'all can see, and it speaks to me. Marty, the feature on the song, did a good job in my opinion. The beat's good and the chorus is too. I also love the music video. The intro of the song is NF telling everyone to just let him work and just let him grind. It connects back to his first track in this Mansion album intro, stating that you'll never make it if you never grind. It's a common theme of NF's tenure as an artist, to grind and work to earn stuff. It shows that NF wants to make it, and his passion and work ethic for music is basically a guarantee that he's gonna make it.
Ain't nobody want a problem when I get in my zone, but it leave me be.
Real's music video is pretty unique, as it shows NF in a plane instead of in a house or on the street. It's a response to his haters, showing his passion for creating music. In the outro of the track, NF asked the question, "What am I doing here?" which connects to the title Real and NF's slogan, NF Real Music. It connects by him asking the question, what is he doing here if he's not being real?
Sometimes I miss all those memories, they pop up back in my mind like remember me.
I Can Feel It is about NF's journey through tough times and his strength to overcome trials and tribulations on his path to success. The hardships he faced consisted of the cold winters without heating, driving a bad car, and being pretty broke. The chorus is pretty catchy, and it shows his confidence in achieving his goals no matter what. This track is so underrated and has a great message.
Some people say nobody's perfect, but expect perfection.
Breathe has got to be one of the most calming songs I've ever listened to. It's about NF's past in Gladwin, a failed relationship, depression, and pain he's been through. The production is great from TOMMEE PROFITT, so soothing and is perfect for the song. The chorus is actually sung by Flair, who isn't credited. She did the chorus for the track Mansion, as you already probably know, and now she's doing this. Two lines in this track that resonated with me the most are this and this one. It's pretty powerful. Overall, I love this track.
I let the door open and come in my mansion, but I never said it's a beautiful house.
Intro 2 shows NF breaking a chair. Rest in peace, chair. In all seriousness though, in intro 2, well, it does show NF breaking a chair, but he also says in this track that Mansion was only a glimpse of his life and that this project has much more to show. He addresses his critics who accuse him of having weak lyrics by saying his music isn't for those who want false comfort or pure entertainment. NF states himself on a genius annotation that this song is an introduction to where he's at. He's experienced a lot of new things when he released Mansion, like the critics telling him that talking about himself and his music is not good music. And it pissed NF off because he uses music as an outlet to express himself, so people trying to tell him not to do that is just stupid. I really like this track, and it's a great start to therapy session.
I know we're breathing, but we're not alive. It really is just the way we wanna die.
Lost in a Moment is a powerful song featuring Andreas Moss. NF refers to himself in the second person, speaking as his conscious. Fun fact, this is actually the third NF song I've ever heard. I really love the tone of it and how well it fits with everything. NF is talking to himself, which is exactly what the album is about, a therapy session. It's a great outro, and yeah, let's move on.
I'm tired of all the talking, to be honest, I would rather see it different. Yeah, you pass me in the hallway.
According to NF himself, I Just Wanna Know is about his experiences with multiple relationships he's had, all bundled into one song. The music video was so well done, with them both arguing while Nate is driving a car. However, they get in an accident, which leads to the girl being taken away by paramedics and eventually dying. NF also depicts in this track that he has trust issues and gets jealous, which we've all had to deal with before in a relationship. I love everything about this track, and it's definitely in my top 5 favorite NF love songs.
Don't you wanna watch your babies grow? I guess pills are more important. All you have to say is no.
How could you leave us? NF questions his mother on how could she up and leave them. How could she leave her babies? The music video complements the track well, with both being powerful and sharing the pain, anger, and sadness NF felt. It shows the times he got to spend with her, but in the end, his mom couldn't fight the addiction. He also describes how he was being monitored by child services while his mother was in the room, and how he barely knew her. He actually talks about this, stating, "We would meet in this room and some lady would sit in the corner. She was writing down everything they said." He goes on to state that it's such a weird feeling, and he was in a room with a mom that he barely knew. The actress who plays NF's mom and the actor who plays Kid NF, and just the production overall in this music video is great. I love the song so much, and it's truly one of the most powerful NF tracks.
They say that life is a race. I knew my problems would probably catch up eventually.
Coming in second is the title track, Therapy Session. This track is an analysis of NF's at the time life and mental state. He talks about his growth and his critics, staging it as a therapy session in the music video. It goes back and forth forth with NF talking to his therapist and talking points in the lyrics. I love this song, and it really shows how NF uses music as an outlet and how he's an inspiration to so many people across the world. NF says himself that the song is very aggressive and blunt where he doesn't hold back. He also wants to thank fans who told him about their story and to everyone who doesn't pretend like they know him and judge him for some crap they heard on the internet. Overall, the song is amazing and is a perfect title track to get the album going.
Sometimes I look up to the sky and wonder, do you see us down here?
Oh Lord expresses NF's doubts and feelings throughout life and being a Christian, asking if God sees him and everyone down on earth. The chorus, the verses, and the production are all 10 out of 10s. This song helped me cope with one of the hardest things I have ever endured in my life, losing my friend due to suicide. With lines like, "Do you see us down here, oh Lord?" It even has me, a non-Christian, questioning the same thing. The line, "Everybody's gonna die, but don't everybody live though," is the most impactful lyric because it showed me that, yes, everyone dies, but everyone goes through living too. You don't want to waste your life just sulking, so why not make the best of it? And of course it's not that simple for depression. It's so hard to get out of the slump, but talking to somebody is very important, and even if you just feel sad and you don't have depression, make sure to talk to somebody. Overall, this is my favorite song of the album. Therapy Session improves from Mansion in its quality, depthness, and overall themes and ideas. It's hard to say, but I think I like this album more than Mansion. It just improves on everything Mansion had to offer, and the album has a higher peak. My favorite album of NF's, Perception. I love how Perception goes with the themes of feeling trapped and trying to get out of a hole. It deals with addiction too, death, and struggling with church. This album was entirely produced by TOMMEE, PROFITT, and David Garcia and was so well done. And a fun fact, some songs were previewed on Instagram by NF. It's a 2-minute video of songs from this album, or cut songs. I'll mention what got previewed when I talk about the songs.
They treat me like a player, that's funny, I'm here to coach you.
100 is a track I don't dislike, but I don't like it either. It has some cool production, and I like what NF is saying, but it's nothing we haven't seen before, therefore it feels like a filler and redundant song. This was a song previewed on Instagram. On this 2-minute video I'll link in the description. It sounds exactly the same as the final version, and the leak starts at 1 minute into the video.
Hope you never make it to the top just to find out there ain't nothing there for you.
3 AM is another song about a relationship that took a turn for the worst. Someone who had a big impact on his life hurt him, and now he doesn't think too good of them. David Garcia did a decent job with the production, and NF's voice is still great. There's nothing wrong with the songs at the bottom, just 100 and 3 AM both seem like a filler and redundant song, but I do like this track and listen to it time to time.
You're special.
Special is another love song, but about his wife. We've seen one before about his wife, that being Got You On My Mind, as you know already. It's a beautiful song, and really shows how much NF loves her. His vocals are great, and lyrics are very meaningful. Yeah, that's just it, a beautiful track. It was also one of the songs on the 2-minute video, starting at 13 seconds into it. Lyrics were a bit different, but essentially the same song.
Too late, yeah, the light bulb's off in my head again. Where is Edison from my adrenaline?
Destiny shows NF rapping about wanting to implement his destiny, how he's grown more on the rap scene, and the urge to focus on negative things. I like the chorus the best, and the verses are really solid. This track was actually previewed on his Instagram with slightly different lyrics, but the video has since gone private, so I can't show it to you sadly. Overall, the song is solid, and I love the production and overall tone.
Better run for me, I don't think you really understand what this does for me.
No shows NF rapping about his family and how much he loves them, how he doesn't rap for money, and sharing struggles in his life. Like Destiny, this track was also previewed on Instagram, but it's also since gone private. My favorite line of the track is, "I've been doing this since I was just a kid, and mama bought me 8 Mile at the movie store." It's my favorite because he's referring to a time where his mom bought him the movie 8 Mile, which is a movie about Eminem, which further shows the inspiration he got from him to start rapping. The song is overall well done, and I really appreciate everything about it.
Yeah, we always talk about the same things, we just say them different, try to fix it.
My Life is about NF speaking to his sister about change. The song is unique because we don't really know anything about NF's siblings, so for the song to dive deeper into that is awesome. Nate considers his sister to be addicted to smoking and alcohol, even calling her living room smoke-filled. I like the song's uniqueness and how NF gives advice to his sister, gives her love, and mentions his regret for the past, wishing they could have been closer. It's overall a well-done track showing his relationship with one of his siblings.
How you gonna lie like that?
Lie has NF rapping about another failed relationship. It's nothing too special, but I love how everything syncs together. Although we've heard the same song and dance before, I like how it focuses on the theme of trust being broken. And yeah, that's pretty much all the thoughts I have.
Following my dreams, yeah, I've been doing me.
On Dreams, NF reflects on days of feeling sad, regret, relationships, and being himself. It has a calm beat and overall production that complements the topics being rapped about. My favorite part has to be when NF brought up going back to Gladwin and reminiscing, not ever wanting to permanently stay there again, but sometimes it's nice to visit. This is overall just a great track.
I'm 26, but I feel like I live in chapter 1.
10 Feet Down, featuring Rule, or Rurel, I don't know how to say it, has NF talking about his life after gaining fame and how people want to get to the top so bad that they forget why they even did music in the first place. I love the fast-paced verses and chorus from Rurel. It's a really well done song and portrays everything really well.
All I see is green lights.
On Green Lights, NF paints that his whole life is moving forward and can't be stopped. It shows his determination, not being distracted or rejecting negativity while staying true to himself. The music video shows NF's house being broken into. They attack him, tie him up to a chair, and want something specific, which is locked in a vault. They trash the house, looking for it, knocking out a glass plate in the process. NF is in range of grabbing the broken piece of glass, so he frees himself from the ties and knocks the robbers out. NF goes to the vault and opens it, pulling out a ring of keys, which is the symbol for the album. He also pulls out a notebook that reads Perception. This is such a creative track because the robbers symbolize NF's inner demons trying to take the keys in his perception. It shows that NF wants to look at the past with a new view, a new perception, instead of being depressed by thinking to all the memories he's locked away in his mansion. This track is absolutely amazing and shows the creativity and optimism NF has.
Sorry that I let you down.
Let You Down is about relationships, trust issues, and fake friends. The relationship he raps about mainly is between his current and future self. In the music video, directed by Nate himself and Patrick Tohill, it shows his future self looking at his current self suffering in various situations, such as drowning or being trapped in a burning car, not doing anything to help. Then we see the future self staring into a freshly dug grave, and it being the current NF dead inside a coffin. He gets upset at this and falls to his knees, then it cuts back to him on the dock looking at NF drowning once again. The camera switches views to a tattoo the old man has on his arm, which is the same tattoo NF has. To end the video, a woman approaches him and says,
Nathan.
So people have this common misconception that the old man isn't NF, but rather it's his father, which is just not true. It's literally shown that the older man is NF by showing the tattoo current NF has and his wife calling him Nathan at the end. And even in the Hope music video where his future self is in a cage played by the same actor, which will be talked about more in depth when we get there. And his dad even attends his concerts, and the good relationship they have is talked about on Bridget's post. And as we know, he took care of him and his siblings when they had to move from NF's mom's abusive boyfriend. Just to put icing on the cake, NF confirms that this has several meanings, such as he feels like he's constantly let himself down, so it wouldn't make sense for the old man to be anyone else but himself. The other meanings it has is trust issues or failed relationships with people. He's most likely talking about his sister in the second verse, as he states, "Go ahead, just drink it off. Both know you're gonna call tomorrow like nothing's wrong." My Life made this even more evident because in it, he states the same thing about his sister. Overall, I love the artistic direction this song and its music video took. It was so well done, and I have no doubts why this is NF's most popular song.
If you want love, you gon' have to learn how to change.
If You Want Love is about the essentials of love and willingness to change to gain the sense of true love for yourself and others. It's similar to the song Thing Called Love and its themes and ideas. I love the voice and production and the message it conveys. If you want love, you must show love to them first, and it's not an easy ride. I love everything about it, the chorus and third verse mainly. I wish I had more to say, but that's pretty much it. Just a great love song overall.
You ain't alone out there. Look around you. We got a lot of fans in here.
On outro, NF tells the story on his journey to the top of the rap scene, his motivation for making music, and emotions he's experienced from his life and along the road to fame. The music video gives this track a boost to be up on this list, as I value the art and everyone who worked on it did. It complements the track by showing all these references and supporting the lyrics. There's a lot of things to go over here, so buckle up. This music video is filmed in the same neighborhood as Intro from Mansion, and now that's already cool enough that he can go back to the same neighborhood and film there again, but the start of this video shows NF wearing the caution tape from Intro, and the next thing it shows is from I Just Wanna Know. It's the girl he was arguing with in the car, and she's standing with a neck brace next to the flipped car and the paramedics. It then shows the man from Wake Up raking leaves. For therapy session, it's the abusive dad with the little girl hiding behind the couch, the family of 3 wearing masks, a framed pic of the tweet that the troll told NF he will slaughter his family, and the kid harming himself on the side of the plane. And how could you leave us? We have young NF on the desk from therapy session with the picture of the Mansion album cover and NF's mom sitting on a bed smoking. NF then goes in a plane, which is obviously the same set from Real, and there's a chainsaw on it too from the music video. For intro 2, there's a shovel on the plane in the back left which is barely visible. Then there's Outcast, where NF is holding the keys for his cell at the end of the video. There's definitely more references I've missed, but those are the ones I caught. You can leave the others down in the comments if you find more. Now, I really love this line, "Pain has always been the root to my music. If I cut it off, how am I supposed to keep growing?" Pain has been the main theme of his music, and relating to people who go through similar stuff just like him. NF fears that this record won't live up to his others, but then realizes that his fans are there because of his emotion and style. His true fans will always love him no matter what. This song is just a great outro to the album, and a great ending for the start of his next projects.
Yeah, it's time for the third record, and you know I got the content.
Intro 3 is a tough one to analyze, which fits well as NF stated in an Instagram live that this was the hardest song he has ever attempted to write, taking over 2 weeks to finish. This track is essentially NF talking about his old fears and describes the changes he has made to take over them. However, at the end of the track, he realizes he can't fully get rid of his fears because it's the root to all of his problems, but he does bury them. NF describes this track as the part 2 to the title track Mansion, as they both deal with fear. He's going back and forth with his fear, arguing. He mentions anger, saying he wishes he can bury it too, but is gonna need it at some point. The exact lines are, "I wrote a song for Johnny without you, but he ain't gonna like it, let's see how he takes it. He probably don't even remember us, does he? I wish I was burying anger, but both of us know I'm gonna need him for that song. He still lives in the basement." Johnny is assumed to be NF's mom's boyfriend who was abusive, and how he wishes he could bury the anger he's had for him, but not yet. NF also said this on Twitter, that he was shaking in the studio when he recorded intro 3, which further cements that music means a lot to him and how he uses it as an outlet. Overall, I love this song and how much NF shares with us. The production complements it so well with the darker tone and how he's arguing with his fear and how he eventually buries it and brings up anger. It's just so artistic, and I would say one of the more underrated NF songs.
People change, even Satan used to be an angel.
Remember this, NF talks about his growth in the music, struggles in life, and living for a reason. This track is another one that got leaked in the 2-minute video, but the beat was different and the song was titled Angels instead of Remember This. It shared a different chorus and beat, and it's honestly so cool. It's at the 1 minute and 35 mark. Anyways, back to the actual track. I love how emotions were personified here, as he always does this, but this is my favorite so far. This line right here, "Anger's a liar, he ain't got no respect. I fell in love with my pain and I slept with my regrets. Happiness saw it happen, maybe that's why she up and left. Joy called me a cheater, said she ain't coming back." The meaning behind these lines is how NF became obsessed with his pain and focused on his regrets, which made his happiness and joy go away. And to put it into words where he personifies his emotions like this, it's just so cool, and I love the art of it. I also love the motivational aspect of this track, and the flow overall is so smooth. And yeah, overall this song is awesome, but there is just one more that tops it, and I love it so much. It's called Outcast.
I don't need y'all's respect, I'm a reject, kid at recess, playing games with his make-believe friends.
NF wrote Outcast to tell people that he's gonna pursue his own style and not try to fit in with the industry. He wakes up in a cell, questioning his motivation to get out. The cell is a metaphor to describe his insecurities, negativity, and his isolation to hide himself from the outside world. He's trying to get rid of all the negativity and insecurities, and this is said in the line, "You looking for the old me, check the morgue." He's changing for the better, basically. He has the keys, but struggles with whether or not he should free himself. He lets people into his mind and be knowledgeable of his insecurities, which is shown in the music video where he lets fans in the cage. He expands on being an outcast and talks trash about the rap game, saying he doesn't want to be a part of it. The reason this is my favorite track and possibly my favorite song of NF's full discography is the rhyme schemes, flow, production, and overall message. The rhyme schemes are beautiful because it fits so well with the flow. It's fast-paced and just sounds amazing overall. And I love the chorus. I can't tell you enough. Like the pre-chorus and chorus, I just have it all together. You know, it's basically just a chorus. It's my favorite of this album and possibly my favorite chorus in all of music. For promotion of this track and album to just build hype around it overall, he put out a tweet stating if anyone wants to be in the new music video he's working on, which of course was Outcast and the scene where fans entered the cage. After the full album was released, he put out a tweet of a drawing of him with the lyrics of Outcast behind. Yeah, with that being said, I love this album, of course. It's my favorite album, and I'm so happy I get to be like doing this and talking about him. If you didn't know, I found NF in 2018, so it would have been more amazing to, experience it all the way from 2010, but I was 5 in 2010, so overall, Perception captures the important themes that NF put in a way that no album of his has done yet. Feeling Trapped has to be my favorite depiction, along with cementing himself in the game with his own style of music. Next up is The Search, seen as objectively the best NF album, which I agree with, but Perception will always be my favorite. The Search starts the path for NF's search for hope. It's not only a wake-up call to himself, but a revelation to his life. It dives into themes such as bettering yourself, finding peace, moving on, battling with your mental health, change, and overall optimism for a better life. This album includes 19 total tracks, however, one track is an interlude, which is just a 40-second clip of NF venting. So it won't be ranked, but I'll talk about it before the ranking. Anyway, this album was produced mostly by NF himself, TOMMEE PROFITT, and Saint X, and other producers and other tracks. Interlude is simply just a sit down where NF vents out how he felt during the time of making Perception. He talks about how he had everything he dreamed of because of the success of it, but still doesn't feel satisfied or happy. He wants there to be more, because if this was just it, he wouldn't know what to do. This interlude is important and shouldn't be overlooked because this reveals more of what NF was going through during and after his making of Perception, when he was on tour with Logic and Kyle and had to admit himself into therapy and getting diagnosed with OCD. The OCD is a big part of this album. His most successful point in life was the lowest he's ever felt, and as we know today, he's got better and is now thriving in what he built for himself. NF is a trooper and deserves all the praise in the world for never giving up on himself. Anyways, let's move on to the ranking.
If you tell me that you mean it, then I hope you mean it.
A calm reflection on NF's life and journey to success. Thinking shows not only that, but the themes of the album before ending it, as this was the second to last track on it. This is a good way to close out an album, but it just lacks what the rest of the tracks on this album have. It's not as bad of an outlier as All I Do was, but it's an outlier nonetheless. It's the weakest of the album for sure.
They should know I'm here to stay. This verse is getting born.
No Excuses has NF explaining his success and focusing on the theme of not making excuses because it's a waste of time and doesn't help you succeed. I like the production here, and it's a well thought out song, focusing on just doing yourself and don't make any excuses for any reason. Yeah, that's all I have to say, really.
Traumas, they surround me.
Trauma is a rare track from NF where he just sings, just like how Goodbye was. Gotta state this again, NF voice is so good, and it really shines here. He sings about wanting to have a connection with someone special while in a time of need. With this being the final track of the album, it ends with the line, "Why haven't you found me yet?" I brought this up because it shows that NF's search was unsuccessful. He hasn't found hope just yet. He's not satisfied with his journey or its outcome. Just not yet anyway. Overall, it's a great conclusion to this album.
But I ain't know that it would be like this.
Like This has NF reflecting on life and its recent changes, comparing his old self with his current self. He also raps about relationships with others and silencing emotions. The chorus is really catchy, and the song has grown on me more over time since I first heard it. It's overall another well-made track, with a solid flow and vocals.
But it's hard when I hate myself.
Hate Myself is a deeper track compared to the rest of the album, where he lets out his deepest thoughts when in a state of depression. It feels intense, with the beat complementing the words being sung and the tone of NF's voice. The song tells you that this is one of the biggest problems he's faced when making The Search.
I don't wanna see you have a bunch of people to impress.
NF on My Stress vents out his feelings of discomfort due to his stress. It begins and ends with the imagery of NF going through these thoughts in one car ride, and I find it so artistic, and it's even more cool when you realize that it's a callback to NF's older songs, like Notepad, where he states that he raps in his car daily, and also in the non-album single from 2018, No Name, where he states he sits in his car writing for hours. He uses it as a way to vent and jot down his thoughts. I love the song, and the chorus has to be my favorite part of it.
They don't want me better, they just want me broke.
NF raps about his dark side on Let Me Go and expresses his feelings towards freedom. He communicates with someone throughout the song, but he doesn't specify. It's rumored that he's speaking of fear and emotion he has, of course, personified in the past. The transitions in the song stood out to me because it sounds so smooth when the verses end with "I need you to let me," and then the chorus starts with "Let me go." He also foreshadows hope on this track, stating he prayed to God and asked him if hope's real. Overall, this is a great addition to the album.
Doesn't matter either way to me, cause even if it did, I would destroy it.
Options has a fast-paced flow, and the production complements that so well. I love the chorus where he says he's either gotta make it or make it, showing that there's no other option but to achieve his goals. I feel it really connects to the song No Excuses, saying he only has one option and is gonna achieve his goals and not make any excuses doing so. I also love the start of the second verse with these lines. On March 14th, 2019, NF actually teased his track on Twitter and Instagram. The Twitter post isn't up anymore, but it was this snippet. The Instagram one is up though, with it being a different snippet of the song. Overall, this track is just a fun, hyper one that has clever wordplay, and I have a lot of love for it.
Look, I can't ignore it, there ain't no I in team.
Returns' wordplay and rhyme scheme are so well executed, it's just one whole verse of NF going off. This track goes into a lot, including questioning himself about fame and being exposed to the consequences of being successful. Most notably though, this song is known for the alleged call out to Eminem. For context, Eminem dropped an album in 2018, a year before The Search, titled Kamikaze. In The Ringer, a track on the album, he says the following line, "Especially an effing recovery clone of me." Recovery is Eminem's 2010 album that's about fighting for a better life after his recovery from drugs. Although NF isn't recovering from drugs, he's trying to have a better life and find hope and peace. So Eminem assumingly saw this NF guy and decided to diss him subliminally, allegedly. Evidence to back this up is Eminem always curses and isn't afraid to, so instead of just saying a fucking, he says an effing, which sounds a lot like NF. Like NFing. So NF responds by firing back, allegedly, writing, "I can't ignore it, there ain't no I in team, but drop the T and A. Sometimes if I'm being honest, feels like it's only me notably, blah blah blah," all that stuff. What's team spell if the T and A is dropped out? Just EM, M, shortened for Eminem. So I totally believe this was a call out to NF and a response to that from NF because it's too coincidental to not be related. And NF is so connected to Eminem in a way that we see people compare them all the time. Others don't think so though, including NF, who states on an interview with iHeartRadio that the diss Eminem did wasn't true and there's no way to prove it, so why would he respond to something that he isn't sure of? Now, I wouldn't say NF is lying, I don't like that word, but I don't think he's telling the truth. Because I have no idea what this stuff would mean otherwise. Why would he drop the T and A? And why would Eminem say an effing if he's fine with cursing? Like, was Recovery Clone of Me a thing about Machine Gun Kelly? I don't know. I don't think NF is a recovery clone or anything close to Eminem, as I stated before, and you can't convince me otherwise. This whole track, the meaning of the line of drop the T and A and all that stuff is just so weird, but I have so much love for this track, and it is so well done.
Tell me everything I'm not. You think I didn't know those things? Always been a little lost and I still might be.
Only, sampling Sasha Alex Sloan's The Only, is a really well executed track. I like how Sloan's sample feels more like a feature too. This track is about the desire to have someone during times of struggle. I like how NF touches upon therapists prescribing him medicine for his OCD, but doesn't want to take them with the trauma he had with his mom's overdose. I don't really have any other thoughts. It's just a short track that samples a beautiful singer and tells a lot.
I just need time.
NF's written love songs before, of course, but this track is the first song to be written from the perspective of Nate being married. This track was teased back on Instagram in January of 2019, and was also teased on the When I Grow Up music video, showing the date and name of the track. I love this track so much because of how it's the first love song NF made when married. It adds like a special uniqueness sort of thing, if that makes sense. The couple in the music video probably represented his past relationships and even arguments with Bridget that build NF's story up. I think the actors do a great job in portraying what NF is talking about. That's all I really have to say, just an overall great track.
Let You Down goes triple platinum, yeah, okay, I guess.
Why shows NF asking a lot of questions, talking about his success from Let You Down, being an outcast, and his aggression with his inner conflict. NF states himself that this song is him asking a bunch of questions and having a lot of realizations. The music video is very important, just like outros is. The video is set in a rundown building with lots of references. The references come in spray paint on the walls, and it shows many things, such as the NF logo, a $sign, normal smiley face, perception keys, perception, TS, Y 3 times actually, don't mess with hashtag real music, Texas, help me, alien / skull face above a scribbly tornado with the text alien NASA, lies, 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 a percentage sign, go home, and a question mark. Now, some of these are self-explanatory, like perception and the perception keys, Y, NF's logo, TS, but why are there ones with aliens and NASA? So bear with me here, but this is what I found. The don't mess with NF real music phrase actually comes from the saying in Texas, where instead of it being the latter, it's "Don't Mess with Texas." It's referencing the slogan where Texas channeled Texas-sized state pride to remind Texans to keep trash off the roads. That's why there's Texas sprayed on the walls. He just instead replaced it with NF real music. For the alien NASA stuff, what does it mean? Well, one thing a fan came up with that also helped me with this section of the project is that it's about him being a different kind of breed. Like in Motivated, he states, "I'm a different breed of artist, I know how to survive," and in Returns, he states these two lines. Overall, this track has a lot of meanings and is one of the most creative ones in NF's discography.
But I know what it is, I just never want to commit. Running from
Change is about NF fighting with his inner self about needing to change, but is afraid to. This track opens up with this line, and as we know, of course, NF isn't a drug advocate, but he's addicted to his pain. It connects to the outro from Perception by stating that pain is the root to his music, and he can't let it go. I like the switch up with the third verse being more calm than the others, and then it builds back up slowly, which shows that NF is changing for the better. You know, he's finally letting go of the pain. Production overall is nicely done, and it complements the lyrics and themes of this album well.
I miss the memories of feeling love.
On I Miss the Days, NF reminisces about his childhood and how he felt truly happy and free from the high expectations and criticisms of others, and that he misses it, as we all do. The production and vocals on this track are top tier. The transitions from verse to chorus are well done too. The pitch voice of NF blends in perfectly with his normal voice. There's also a feature on this track that isn't credited who does background vocals on both this track and Change. His name is Travis Cottrell, and I didn't mention it when talking about Change because I figured it would just fit better here since they're back-to-back in this ranking. Cottrell's actually a friend of PROFITT, and in an interview with Midnight Donut Sign, he spoke on this. It'll be linked in the description below. Overall, this track is amazing and was so well done.
But once I finally did, he said this song sucks.
Leave Me Alone is a track where NF responds to fame. He personified his fame back in 2018 with the single No Name, saying that they called but will come back to it during his fourth album. And now that we're here, he's here to answer it. When he got his first taste of fame with Perception, he stated that the feeling wasn't for him. In this album's title track, he clarifies this too. And this track is here to basically cement his thoughts and feelings about being famous, how it's not all sunshine and roses. He sent Fame this track and got offended and said this song sucks. This album was the debut of NF using balloons and a shopping cart to symbolize carrying around burdens, as I dive more into that when talking about the title track. But in this music video, NF is seen pushing his balloons away, portraying he wants his burdens, fears, and doubts to leave him alone. On July 24th of 2019, 2 days before the release of this album, NF teased the music video for this track on Twitter. Overall, I love how this track dives deeper into NF's relationship with fame and how it establishes more continuity on his feelings in general, checking back with himself as he promised in No Name.
Perception's coming next, we about to reach some masses.
Nate shows NF talking to his younger self, giving advice based on what he's experienced since growing up as a person and an artist. This idea for a track came to mind when Nate was in therapy after the Perception tour. He states via Spotify that he checked himself in and came up with the concept there. The concept of talking to the younger him. The link will be in description for the video on Spotify's Twitter and an Instagram live where he answered this question at the 9:23 mark, going more into depth about it. He goes through many topics, such as becoming famous and dealing with it, going through pain and coping, getting into music, and more. This track is truly genius, and it fits perfectly with the overall tone of the album, giving viewers a more in-depth part of his recovery journey and path to find hope.
Something funny's going on up in my house.
The title track for this album, NF opens up about the struggles inside his head and how he deals with fame. This track is technically the debut of NF using a shopping cart and balloons to symbolize his journey of searching to find hope and carrying around some of his burdens. Although Y technically gave us it first as a single, it isn't before the search in the timeline, and NF never explained it until the search's opening track. He explains what the balloons in the cart are. It's showing that he's free from the cage from Perception and is now looking for hope. The opening line of this track sets the tone immediately as he answers the question throughout the track by discussing changes, depression, and the world itself. He references the track Change by stating he's made a song about changes and you should listen to it. On February 5th, 2021, TOMMEE PROFITT uploaded a video on the YouTube showing how he made the sounds and music for the song, which I remember first seeing and I was so impressed. The link will be in the description for you guys if you'd like to watch it. The song overall is just a great start to the album.
Maybe someday I could even be up on the radio.
When I Grew Up shows NF that when growing up, he always wanted to become a rapper instead of any alternative. The start of the music video shows kids listing off what they want to be when they grow up, and all of them say typical professions like doctor or police officer. But when it comes to Kid NF, he states he's gonna be a rapper, while all the kids say they wanna be this or that. Saying I'm gonna instead of I wanna gives audiences the notion that this is all he wants to be and is sure of it. He won't settle for anything less. The music video shows NF taking on certain jobs jobs where he doesn't seem too excited to do. It ends off with him rapping in front of a stage, showing that he finally got his dream to come true. There's a couple Easter eggs in the music video. So during the music video, there are black balloons showing that his burdens are there. When he's posing as a janitor, his name tag is Outcast, and it foreshadows Time, the next single on this album, on a piece of paper. He also subtly makes a callback to Moments, where his co-workers are holding up a Moments CD, showing that although NF isn't too fond of his first couple works, he doesn't forget where he started. He also calls his doubters out. He states that the odds weren't in his favor, and how he didn't start off very talented by admitting his lyrics were weak. On June 26th of 2019, NF posted a snippet of this music video that would release a day later. Also, there's a kid who shows up in this music video who's also in a certain Hope one, so I'll be sure to point that out once it happens. Overall, The Search was a perfect start to NF's journey to find hope. It handles each theme and topic maturely, letting audiences see the production growth and character development clearly compared to his past albums, with help from his producers. Next up is Clouds, a mixtape that doesn't have much of a direction, and is more just there to give audiences something new while hope is in the making. Clouds the Mixtape is a more unorganized project of NF's, as it's mainly just a bunch of songs that don't fit too well together and doesn't keep up the same tone like the other albums of his. That's not to discredit this project though, as all these tracks are fleshed out in their own way, they just necessarily don't fit together as much. NF even stated in the title track that he's had songs that he wanted to release, but it wasn't enough for an album, so he went with this. What it does show is his work ethic, energetic side, attitude to critics, and more ideas and themes. It even has a track that is way different from any NF song you've seen, while still focusing on the cinematic aspects of his work. This project was produced fully by NF, TOMMEE PROFITT, and Saint X. Anyways, let's get on to the ranking.
Wasn't me, that's a joke.
That's a Joke finds NF addressing people who think of him as an outsider in the rap game, denouncing those attempting to deceive him, showing how he always proves his doubters and competitors wrong in the success he's gotten. He also seems to be frustrated by those who don't give credit to his presence in rap. The song isn't anything special, and the chorus isn't all that good. The verses are catchy, but not that great. I wish I had more to say, but it's overall not that great.
I got plans, I got goals, I got tricks on my sleeve.
Layers has two parts to the track, and it's a nice switch up NF did to add more variety to his music. My favorite is the first part. On May 6th of 2020, NF released a snippet of the song but then deleted it right after. On an Instagram Live, NF stated that he rewrote the beginning of the song like 10 times, and that sometimes that just happens, where he has to rewrite multiple times to his liking, which is a sign of his OCD and how it affected his ability to put out. Anyways, the production is great, and overall just a solid track.
I don't die today, I can't die today, I got things to do.
Story is way different from a typical NF song. It's actually a story, a cinematic experience with the music video. I'm not going to spoil the music video, so you guys need to watch it for yourself. It's actually such a good short story. It's about a robbery basically gone wrong with a nice plot twist. It's just so intense and so immersive. NF actually took part in acting as one of the robbers, which is just something NF always wanted to do, to make stories and movies. And now he has started with this story that's not his own story. It's just a short story about a robbery gone wrong. The quote, "Man, I don't know if I'm making movies or music videos," from The Search supports this idea because NF's music videos are like movies. On March 26th of 2021, he sent out this tweet. In the replies, someone asked how long it took to shoot, and then he responded that it only took 3 days. How does it only take 3 days? It's so well done, and it only took 3 days to shoot. Like, I love how he did this, man. I can't believe it only took that little time, you know? It's such a greatly acted and performed piece of art. Great work by everyone who is involved.
Positive that where I'm at is not where I should stay, and that's why.
On Drifting, NF raps about the lack of self-love and insecurities he faces. But to foreshadow to Hope, his next album, he ends the song on a more hopeful note, asking God to make him see his own worst so that he can climb out of the rut he's been buried in. The song has a lot of good things about it, but my favorite part is the end.
Project Coating, yes I like to wear it.
Lost, featuring rapper Hobson, was first teased in July 2020 when NF posted a picture of him and Hobson in a snowy area. The first snippet of the music video was posted by Hobson in January of 2021, which isn't archived sadly. The title of Lost was first hinted towards the end of the music video for Paid My Dues, a track that'll be talked about in a few minutes. The collaboration of these two is pretty long awaited, as Nate and Hobson make a similar style of music. And overall, I really like the collaboration of these two, and I hope to see more in the future.
Angry and hurt, got what you earned, being prideful.
Prideful is another song where NF talks about an old relationship that didn't work out due to the other person being too prideful, blaming Nate for a lot of things, and twisting his words, getting jealous to his growing success. This track has a solid production and fits well with the lyrics. I really like how calming it is and how NF describes the relationship. Great job overall.
Calmly feel myself evolving.
Clouds premiered along with the music video on March 26 of 2021. NF describes his success and shares how he doesn't fit into the normal rapper you see nowadays. Although we've seen this topic many times, and it can feel a bit redundant, NF still transforms the message into different and creative ways with the help of TOMMEE PROFITT. I love how NF digs a bit into his comedic side here, with the music video having funny moments. Like the Search's title track, TOMMEE PROFITT uploaded 2 videos on his YouTube channel, showing how he and NF made the song, as well as walking the audience through its production. The link will also be in description next to the Search one. On February 17 of 2021, NF announced this track on social media, releasing a day later. This track hits all the boxes and the music video makes it even better. Great track overall. Trust, featuring Tech9, is a fast-paced, chaotic track where they talk about their intense work ethic, lack of trust, and more. I love this track and the chemistry between the two. They both go off and do an amazing job. Tech9 describes doing this collaboration with NF as godly, which I love to see. Overall, a great track, and I wish I had more to say about it.
Just like you, like you.
Just Like You tells anyone that's struggling with something, whether it be with loneliness, depression, or just any mental health problem in general, that they're not alone and there are many people just like them. The production is really fitting, the flow and tone of NF's voice are matching perfectly. I love the chorus the most, and the verses are well done overall. One of the most underrated tracks by him to date.
Ears are burning, put them out. Quiet, quiet, look around.
Paid My Dues came out as a single, then eventually moved to this mixtape. NF talks about the critics bashing this search and their hypocrisy, how he made his path of success, his burdens, and inner conflicts. He states that the reviews did throw him off a bit, but then bashes the bashers and won't let the critics get to him anymore. This song is so good because of NF's confidence and ability to not let things get to him anymore. It's true character development that fits well with the story aspect NF is going for. Basically, screw the critics and we don't like them. They get paid for trashing people who work hard, and the people who work hard will keep working hard and get paid and be more successful. In the music video, NF is seen bench pressing the balloons, proving he's working his way through the dark times of his mental health. In intro 3, NF talked about his anger and how it lives in the basement, and in this track, he is set in the basement where he shows his Tims in the locker and also NF's former selves. Here on the right side, we have his I'm Free days, and next to where he's holding the Tims, there's Nate from Leave Me Alone. We see black combat boots on him, which means he's going to war, at least that's my interpretation. Towards the end of the video, the camera pans to his feet to show his Tims are back on, meaning he got all the frustration and anger out. Also, a foreshadow to hope is seen too, with the white clothes of NF saying hello. I never really mentioned his Tims before, as I don't think it has much meaning, but I wanted to point out that they did actually show up back in 2016, back in Warm Up in the cover art. Clouds overall was an impressive mixtape to keep fans happy instead of going on a hiatus for instead 4 years straight. It's a project that doesn't show much direction and organization, but like I said, these things aren't bad. It has some sort of organization, but it's not really meant to be like a full-on project, of course. We already went over this anyway, so I'm really happy that fans got this project and that we got 2 more collabs in Tech9 and Hobson. Anyway, next up is Hope, where NF has found what he's been looking for. With the search being a quest to find hope, and Clouds being a sort of intermission, this album shows he succeeded in that. Hope shows NF evolving, moving on from his burdens to live a more hopeful life. It deals with the themes of moving on, forgiveness, healing, and shows more of NF's passion and his overall mindset, and how it compares to his other projects. This album was fully produced by NF, PROFITT, Saint X, Jeff Sujka, and David Garcia.
Funny how they switch up quick when they realize that your name was.
Turn My Back shows NF's rap skills by using different flows to set his place in the rap game. He raps on how he's doing fine without anyone trying to control his every move. He will turn his back on any critics who attempt to tell him how to do his job. So, I don't like this track as much, and it's definitely the worst of the album, as you can see, but it's interesting, and I like the message and the different flows, but it doesn't really do it for me. I don't like the beat, but I do like how he pays respects and lists off his inspirations, such as Dr. Dre, Kendrick Lamar, Cordae, Eminem, and Kanye. He also says that the latter's documentary was inspirational to him. Overall, a track that's not bad or a huge outlier, but my least favorite of the album.
Mediocre, that just won't suffice.
Suffice has NF reflecting reflecting on his career, discussing how he gives it his all, or at least tries to when making every track. He also looks at the past and questions where he would have ended up if he never done music. He brings up All I Have and how he has been through a lot since the first EP in 2014. I love the flow and the switch to the part 2 of the song. He brings up how a girl falsely accused him that he got her pregnant, but the DNA test came back negative. And this is interesting, and I hope NF expands more on it someday. But yeah, overall, just a decent track.
See, I'm praying on my downfall.
On Let Him Pray, NF addresses his haters who pray for his downfall, but is not worried because he knows that praying won't do good because God has his back. He also raps about his place in the rap game and his past. The production is really good here, and I like how the flow moves with it. It's a pretty simple song and was executed with success.
Sometimes I think of you.
Gone, featuring Julia Michaels, is about the immaturity in relationships. The chemistry between the two sounds so good, and I love both verses. It's a pretty basic relationship/love track, and I love that it gives us more singing from Nate. It's a great one overall, not much else to say.
Just don't call me up.
Mistake shows off NF's beautiful voice once again, with the calm piano following the flow. In this track, NF questions his tendency of placing his worth in the hands of others, and how he's not a mistake. I really like the ending to this track, and how the production gets louder and louder as he's talking to someone, or just a group of people.
Oh my! Pandemonium is showtime!
Pandemonium is an intense, fast-paced track where NF addresses how he's an artist who's progressed and built his own style. The line, "You could already tell the energy is different," is a perfect line to describe the tone shift of this album. He also talks about his hiatus from dropping albums, which made fans lose confidence in him and doubt if he'll ever come back. This track is good overall, and perfect for the album.
Gotta keep the loved ones close, that's all we know.
Careful features rapper Corday, where they both talk about the importance of taking risks for success. NF specifically raps about how grateful he is for his life. Corday raps about how he feels as if he needs to protect himself and how he's not at the top yet. I love the line, "Lost souls at a crossroads," which is of course a similar line on the title track of this album. I was a lost soul at a crossroad who had no hope, but I changed that. This track also samples Tech Nine's Tell Everyone. Collaboration was great overall, and I love NF's second verse.
I swear to God, I would take her. Yeah, I would take her.
Bullet is dedicated to NF's wife, Bridget, where he tells her that he would do anything for her, even taking a bullet. He also states how perfect he thinks she is, and nobody can change that. He then talks about how hard it was to have their baby, Beckham, in 2021. In short, there are many complications with the pregnancy, so Bridget had to have a C-section. The photos on the screen are Bridget's explanation on what happened via her Instagram. NF was there for the whole time, being a great dad and husband in the process. I'm so happy he settled down with a family. This is overall a beautiful and heartwarming track, and I hope to see another one in the next project.
You heard this saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's my
Motto represents NF's beliefs and ideals, and how he's in control of his career. He reflects on where he started to where he has ended up. He talks about how he doesn't follow the mainstream music trend from signing with record labels and making pop-like music to gain fame and win awards. He doesn't want to change just to please others. The main point of Motto has been something NF has been saying forever, how he's built his own style and doesn't want to just fit into the crowd. A fun fact for the song, NF got a lot of fans to be in this music video. It was cool to see the finished product and how everything turned out, and I wish I could have been there to see NF do his sing in person. And on the When I Grow Up music video, it featured a kid that also showed up here on Motto, so that was a cool little reference for people who watched the When I Grow Up music video. This track also features NF's son. All it has is him saying yeah when NF is doing the second verse. It was a cool touch that NF added.
I don't know why, but I feel more comfortable.
Happy is about a little girl who grew up in a broken household, having to fend for herself while switching between herself as an adult who is depressed and in a bad relationship, mirroring what she as a child had to endure, watching her mom and boyfriend fight. She wants change and is hopeful, as it shows in the mirror where she's wearing a white t-shirt instead of her normal outfit. She goes to her mom at the end of the video, truly showing she wants change. This music video is perfect to show what the lyrics are saying. It gives us a show don't tell aspect that is a rule in storytelling that NF succeeded on doing. Like other music videos such as Time, this doesn't have NF as the center focus, but it is still about him. He uses stories to act out how he's felt and feeling, and that is something I love about him. His cadence at the end of the track, with the music video acting it out, shows the audience that there's hope, fitting well with the themes of this album.
I hope you're up there with God, feeling love, this set free from your pain.
Mama is a sequel to How Could You Leave Us, a hopeful and forgiving track, praying that his mother found peace. It relates to the latter track, where the child wants change in their relationship with the mom, mom, and in this case, NF changes his attitude, forgiving his mom. Eminem's story was similar, where he'd always hated and felt bitter towards his mom, until he made headlights in his 2013 album MMLP2, Forgiving Her. NF didn't hate his mom, but was just angry and had a lot of resentment, as with How Could You Leave Us, it was showing an angry tone and resentment of her. I believe that NF got the motivation to forgive his mom through a number of things, such as Eminem's story. Overall though, I'm more than happy that we got this track, as it puts an end to a chapter that fans of NF have been praying for.
I'm done running.
Running shows NF having a conversation with himself, reflecting on the need to let go of his past self for the sake of his healing and future. As the final track of the album, it captured the theme of needing to let go the most, with it ending with NF saying, "I'm done." The production also captures this, giving audiences the feeling that this will be the last time NF will talk about his hurtful past, and forever focus on the future, maybe even reminiscing on more good things in his upcoming projects. This is the best outro song by him to date in my opinion because of all these reasons. It connects to the title track, which, spoiler alert obviously, is next. It connects with the line, 30 years of running, showing that he is done running. I'm so excited to see what more NF has in store, with this new set tone going to be apparent throughout the future.
What's my definition of success?
Hope, the title track of this album, is a complete masterpiece. NF properly introduces a new side of him to the audience, a side that's hopeful and that has grown throughout the years. When NF posted the teaser the night before the release, I was more hyped than I have ever been for anything in a long time. TOMMEE PROFITT made a video showing how he made this track, just like he did with the Searching Clouds. Link will be in the description to check out if you want. In the music video, there are two versions of NF, one that's wearing all white, which represents the changed version of himself, and the other wearing all black, his past dark self. The beginning of the video shows NF in white, sitting alone on a raft drifting in the middle of an ocean. NF stands to his dark side, holding a map later in the video, which is a direct callback to the line in The Search, where he says, "I'm looking for the map to hope he's seen it." Well, NF has finally found the map, or more accurately, he's found hope. As he's looking at it, his dark side follows him around, pointing him in the wrong direction to where hope is. NF is confused and follows the directions until he finds himself back right where he started. He walks away, then suddenly his dark side comes up behind him and pushes him into the sand, causing him to fall inside of a mansion. Well, NF picks himself up off the floor. The chorus of the song Mansion plays as he is walking around looking for a way out. The mansion is obviously a visual representation of his mind. It's where his fear, his burdens, his pain, and everything he's experienced inhabit. As NF walks around the mansion, he finds a door that he opens, only to see his fear and past burdens trying to get him to come back, so he closes the door. He finds another one and sees a future version of himself standing inside a cage holding a set of keys, which is the same actor from the Let You Down music video, which, like I said, would show back up. This, of course, is a callback to Perception, where NF is inside a cage holding keys. NF then gets a bag put over his head by his dark self and gets placed to the mountain outside. And he's been going on for 30 years on how he's been doing all these things, and now it's just time to stop and start a new chapter. This whole video is a masterpiece, and the ending solidified it as one. I love how this track has the lines, "What's my definition of success?" because it's a reference to NF's track Why on The Search when he asked the same thing. He actually has an answer now though, and it's listening to what your heart says, standing up for what he knows is right, doing something no one else can, dreaming big to see the bright side through the dark times when there ain't one. This track overall, like I said, is a masterpiece and is in my top 5 songs of all time for sure. NF's whole journey from start to finish has been the greatest story in music I've ever witnessed. When I first found NF, it was in a time of need. I've never been more infatuated with an artist before, and I'm so grateful for Nathan and his cast around him. TOMMEE PROFITT deserves a huge shout out as he's been NF's main producer for over a decade now. More shout outs to NF's producers who have been there along the way, such as David Garcia. Another one has gotta go to Bridget Dormis, lifting NF up and being there for him in his times of need. I'm truly happy that he has someone and a family. Speaking of shout outs, I want to give a huge thank you to the people who have helped me on this video and project in general. On December 15th of 2022, I uploaded this same video concept, and after months of not being proud of it and wanting to redo it, to go more into depth, and since I'm more educated on everything, I decided to redo it. I also made the decision because Hope released 4 months after, so I might as well have done it. My original plan was to just mash both videos together, but I wanted to remake. Anyway, I started this version around the middle of January 2024, using my video as reference while adding so many more things and getting getting more into depth. I have to say that I'm very happy with this version, and I'm glad to have gotten it done. The reason for me saying all this was because there have been people that have helped me on both videos. Starting off, I have my good friend Nikki. She has helped me on this current version by proofreading and helping add ideas to each analysis of a track, and has been an all-around supporter where I wouldn't have gotten this video done without her. She has been such a blessing. Make sure to go follow her on Twitter when you can. It'll be linked in the description. Shout out to Wandering Underground. He's a good friend of mine who uploads tracks on YouTube, and he's actually the first to upload NF's I'm Free extended play to YouTube, so go check him out if you haven't. His link will be in the description below. A video I want to shout out is the NF documentary that will be released on May 17th of 2024. If you're looking for a full-on NF documentary about his life, going into way more depth than I did on the intro of this video, then go check out Jonathan Shepard's documentary on NF, the complete uncut version. The link will be in the description as well as his Twitter. All in all, this was a very fun project to make, even with a lot of stressors in my way. I'm so happy I got the chance to do this, and I hope to continue making more in the future. Make sure to comment your favorite songs in the comments below if you haven't, or just your whole ranking, even though that'd probably take like, I don't know, 10 minutes for you to do. It's a lot of songs. I make other content on this channel, mainly gaming playthroughs, if you want to check them out. I have a lot of playlists you can find on the channel. With that being said, I really hope you all enjoyed this. Make sure to drop a like if you did. Have a great rest of your day.